Shalom, Yasharala. This your brother Dawud from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. All right, I'm going to jump into this here lesson. I'm dealing with just how much of a blessing it is to be able to see these prophecies coming to pass around us, speaking and talking to just other people in the world in a light sense, the spirit of just of prophecy, should be in your heart no matter what, you know what I'm saying? So you could be talking to somebody, in the world, a carnal person, somebody at work, or somebody anywhere, and, if you're in the right spirit, man, it's kind of hard to hide this, So, speaking of certain things, somebody talking about, damn, man, they, I'll give you a past example of, certain things that, with having family in town. Somebody was saying something about, just some crazy shit going on. Like, they coming out with, like sex robots and all these types of different things like that, which got me into the conversation of, lightly speaking with them about basically how they trying to replace your ass with all that shit. They breaking up all this stuff. Esau is into some extra shit, but nevertheless, I brought out a couple different news stories or just pointed them out. Like, okay, well, this story is a lot like this story and a lot like this story and a lot like this story. And if you put them all together, you'll see a bigger picture, and people can see all that, and I brought up this analogy, just earlier today, because I was still vexed about this shit, I was saying, like, you're watching the news, they was talking about, Russia and hacking and all that and your routers and all that shit. And I'm like, it's funny how Americans is goddamn out of their wits when they hear about Russia and they hacking and bullshit like that. But when now the Russian government don't really got no authority over you, but your American government is getting caught over and over and over and over again, spying on your ass, recording your ass, whether it be with Facebook, Amazon, all kind of extra shit like that. All right. These motherfuckers are spying on you day in and day out, and you don't give a damn about that. You be like, well, we're going to keep giving them more and more of our information and all our background info. You don't care about that shit. You willingly give them that, but you hear about some propaganda about Russia and you want to be all mad about that shit. You goddamn hypocrites over here. But nevertheless, going into, like I said, just that's how that conversation started, but speaking in a lightly sense like that, these things start to come out, but, and I just happen to be looking back, at a certain time. I'm like, I'm not going to argue with you people about that. I mean, I already know y'all off and y'all doing y'all shit. It's obvious. But nevertheless, it made me sit back and think about how blessed I am to be able to see these things and to see these things because it's right there in front of everybody's face, but they just don't see it. They can't put two and two together. All right. So reading on here, Matthew 10:21, it says, in that hour, Yahweh shall rejoice in spirit and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth. So yeah. It says, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that thou hast hid these things from the wise and the prudent. All right. So all these people walking around thinking that they look at you, tell you crazy. You don't know what you doing. You got life fucked up, but really, and they claiming they all wise. They this, they that. Look, man, you could get a good job like me. Obviously, I'm doing something right. Look at this. I got a that, and so on and so forth. Or you need to go and, man, you need to go out there and go get married, find a wife and have some kids. Or, man, you need to go do this and go do that, It's like, yo, man, I give thanks to the Most High that, it says, like it says here, it says, thou hast hid these things from the wise. Thou hast hid these things from the wise and the prudent and has revealed them unto babes. All right. All these people who think they got it going on, hey, they really blinded. They don't see these things. All right. But the ones who was coming in, like when we all came into this, we all knew things. We all had information and everything in our mind, and we was already on not to say the right path, but we was on our so-called right path. All right. But then when we came across this truth, we had to, we searched through the scriptures. We did our diligent search and everything like that. But at the end of the day, we had to basically, get rid of all the things that we thought was right, and we had to acknowledge the truth. All right. So it's talking about these babes here, like a baby comparably to a full-grown adult. A full-grown adult's got experience and went through some shit. They already know what they set in their ways. A baby is like a sponge in that stage. They absorbing everything around them. They learning everything at that point in time. All right. So the Most High said, look, All the motherfuckers who think they got it going on know that I know what I'm talking about. I know I got this. Oh no, this ain't happening. He hid it from them and gave it to the ones like, all right, I mean, I know what's going on, this and that, but what you talking about over there? Oh shit, now let me go, the ones that came back as hey, no man can enter the kingdom of heaven unless he be born again. All right. It says, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that thou hast hid these things from the wise and the prudent, and hast revealed them unto babes. Even so, Father, for it seemed good in thy sight. All things are delivered to me of my Father, and no man knoweth who the Son is but the Father, and who the Father is but the Son, and he whom the Son will reveal him. Okay? So basically, you can't know the Most High and the Son unless it was given unto you. All right? Everybody else, they're going to be blinded. So again, blessed be your eyes if you blessed to see this. All right? This ain't no light thing. This is actually a real heavy thing. All right? The whole world is blinded. They don't see the goddamn avalanches rolling down the goddamn hill about to roll over their ass, They still down there building snowmen and shit, But nevertheless, verse 23 says, and he turned unto his disciples and said privately. All right, he didn't tell it to everybody, just privately to his disciples, the ones that was following him. All right. It says, blessed are the eyes which see the things that ye see. All right. So like we see these prophecies coming to pass. We see all these things coming to pass. We see Israel waking up. We see that the 12 tribe sign is correct. We see all these different things. All right. And Yahushua said, blessed are the eyes which see these things, which see the things ye see. For I tell you, okay, many prophets and kings have desired to see the things which you see and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear and have not heard them. So yeah, like a lot of the people that's coming up against us, scoffing and shit, not really the scoffers, but people coming up against us saying we had the wrong doctrine and stuff, they're still waiting to see these signs because they got it in their mind, oh, it's going to actually happen like this. These things going to happen like this. Like Christianity, all these people waiting on this pre-tribulation so-called rapture. All right. They gonna be, I don't know what the fuck they gonna be waiting on. They waiting on some shit that ain't gonna never happen. That's like waiting on Esau to get salvation, to get redemption when there was no place of repentance found for him. That thus saith the Most High. So you waiting on that, you're gonna be waiting forever, But nevertheless, a lot of these people that are so-called coming up against us, they still looking for these things, They don't see these things right there in front of them. We right here at the last couple prophecies, the children of Israel then woke back up, found out who they were, came back to the law, statutes, commandment, the Most High's name, and his son's name is back in our mouths. All right, we know who Esau is. His kingdom is fallen. We see him setting up the RFID chip, We see all these things. We even see the chariots coming out and all these types of different things coming out. World War III, nuclear weapons, the Lord's weapons of his indignation. We see all these things right here in front of us, but everybody else, they don't see these things. They just going on, continuing on as everything, as it was from the beginning, So it's a blessing that we get to see these things, and there are people who still say they seeking to see these things, but yet they look at all these so-called pastors in these churches, some of the ones who think they have a so-called sincere heart. Why is, Jake, who ain't even in church, realizing it or being taught that they Israelites, and the pastor in the church still hadn't quite figured that shit out yet, But yeah, he's claiming himself to be a man of the Lord. He's desiring to see these things, but he's still blinded. All right. Verse 24 again, it says, for I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which ye see and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear and have not heard them. All right. Actually, grab this too. Come on. This is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 3. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers walking after their own lust. All right. And we see that happening now. Ah, man. Let me just continue reading. And saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. All right. So, yeah, these scoffers is coming up. Yeah, the Lord's going to come, just not in my lifetime. Yeah, there was always wars and so on and so forth. Yeah, but you paranoid. You think America gonna get destroyed. Ain't no other country gonna do these things, you know. You psychopath if you think all these things is going on, you know. Again, like we just read, many prophets and kings desire to see these things, but they have not seen them, you know. But also, you got these people coming up, you know, these scoffers and stuff like that, you know, coming up against us, saying all this, since let me read it. It says, for since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. And what are they saying really in their minds? They don't see these prophecies coming to pass. They don't see none of these things happening. So therefore, they're just it's a lot here. I'm in a parking lot right now, and I got, you know, people walking by and stuff like that. But nevertheless, when they saying things like that, you know, saying where's the promise of his coming, they don't believe these things is coming to pass. They don't, obviously, because they don't see these prophecies coming to pass. All right, if they seen the prophecies coming to pass, it's right there in their damn face, you know. But yet they don't see these things. So again, like the Lord said, blessed be your eyes to see these things. All right. And just briefly in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, we're gonna just jump through a couple of these here scriptures, talking about when the end of the world is gonna come. All right, because you know the disciples asked. Let me just get it at the end of verse 3. This is Matthew 24:3. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? Okay, so he's gonna give them some of these signs. It says, you shall hear wars and rumors of wars. Okay, see that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And so we start to see these things happening, the wars and the rumors of wars. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Okay, we're seeing this happening. Nation against nation. You have the Edomites versus the Israelites. You see that, you know, with the so-called Black Lives Matter deal going on, all right? Then also kingdom against kingdom. All right, you see like how they have Israel trying to bang up against Iran and Syria and all these types of things, these different nations or different, more or less to say, countries fighting against each other, you know? Not necessarily saying that they have to be different races of people. They could be the same so-called nationality of people, but yet they still warring against each other, like America and Russia. They both Edomites, all right? It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines. All right, and you hear about that in like places like Venezuela and stuff, and pestilence. You hear about that with like the so-called Ebola outbreaks, the super all these super viruses they got coming out, super STDs and shit they got coming out. Okay, and earthquakes in diverse places. All right, and you know, you should get one of those little earthquake maps, man. I'm telling you, man. Like within, you know, every day I get so many alerts on just how many earthquakes there are every day, you know. And you get a map and you look at these things, there's earthquakes all over the damn place, you know. Not only that, you have all these volcanoes erupting, all right. Let me jump down. Oh, also this, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, then the end shall come. And I did a video on this before showing on, you know, how this was going to be done throughout the YouTube and looking at the analytics, you know, just a small channel like my own, you know, if it made it to all these other countries, you know, how much more of a larger channel, you know, that's pushing this truth out and truth and sincerity. All right. This is how this is being preached to the four corners of the earth. All right. Jumping down to verse 21, for there shall be great tribulation for there shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall it be. And except those days shall be shortened, there shall be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be saved. Verse 25, behold, I have told you before. Okay. And also jump down to verse 32. Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender, and he putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise, when you shall hear of all these things, know that it is near, even at the door. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Okay, so, you know, I was jumping around to basically show off these different signs and these things, you know. And Yahushua say, look, watch, I told you these things is coming, you know. And he also gave you the parable of the fig tree. You see these signs come to pass, you know the end is come. You know, jumping back to blessed be the eyes to see these things. All right, see what things? These prophecies coming to pass. You know, it's a blessing for us to see these things because, like the parable of the fig tree, you know what I'm saying? We know it's time to get right. It's time for salvation. You know. Jumping over to the book of Isaiah 53. It's Isaiah 53:1. Who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of Yahweh revealed? Okay, and now this question is answered basically by one answer, or actually multiple answers, but one group of people. It's the elect. My sheep will hear my voice. All right, and also he spake by the mouth of the prophet. So it says, who has believed our report? Well, what is our report? Our report's not our own report. It's the report that the Most High gave us according to Ezekiel 2 and Ezekiel 3. All right, eat this roll. I'll put into your mouth my words, and you're going to speak to the children of Israel. Okay? And so what is the report? You know, basically the sign, like what we're reading in Matthew 24, the prophecies. All right? Also the law, statutes, commandments, to come back to the law, statutes, commandments. All right? Raising Israel back up. It says, who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of Yahweh revealed? All right? So the Most High is going to save, you know, the elect, the ones that hear his voices, is going to come and hearken to the word of the Most High. All right, the ones that's able to see all these things, the ones that's not blinded by all this. All right. Got a couple more scriptures I'm gonna pull out actually. This is Ezekiel 12:2. It says, Son of man, thou dwellest in the midst of a rebellious house, which have eyes to see. Okay, so again, my sheep's gonna hear my voice. All right, for one. Then there's also, we was reading about blessed are the eyes that see these things, for many men or kings and priests desire to see these things that you see and have not seen them, you know, and heard the things that you hear but have not heard them. All right, but it says Son of man, thou dwellest in the midst of a rebellious house, which have eyes to see and see not. Okay. For they have ears and hear not, for they are a rebellious house. So, you know, again, they see, they got eyes, but they don't see, you know, but blessed are your eyes that see, because, you know, the God of this world has blinded them, you know. Jumping down to verse 27. It says, Ezekiel 12:27, Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come. He prophesied of times that are far off. All right. But nevertheless, you know, people, this is what a lot of Jakes say, oh, it ain't gonna happen in my lifetime, and so on and so forth, you know. But we know, like, we look at those signs, like the parable of the fig tree, we know this is right here, right now. All right. Verse 28, therefore say unto them, thus saith Yahweh power, there shall none of my words be prolonged anymore, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith Yahweh power. All right. So again, contrary to the things going on, you know, people scoffing and saying that, you know, since our father slept, all the things continued on. You know, we ain't seen nothing happen. Oh, it ain't gonna happen in my lifetime. You know, they don't see these things as happening. The prophecies coming to pass on you know, when you watch the news and stuff, you don't see, they're not seeing these things are coming to pass. They don't see the the mark of the beast microchip. They don't see World War III being prepared. They don't see all these other nations catching their damn judgment. We in the middle of Judgment Day right now, where all the other nations catching their judgment. All right, the last two people gonna catch their judgment is right here in America. The Edomites and the Israelites, the 2/3 of our people, all right, and salvation. So that's going to be at the very end all. But all the other nations got to catch their judgment. And that's what the hell you see going on around the rest of the world, you know. But people's eyes, the rest of these people's eyes is blinded. Like my mom keep talking about how God put it in her heart to go to the Holy Land, and it's his will for her to go see that land over there. She want to go vacation in Israel, but she don't have no idea about the climate that's going on over there. All right. She's blinded. She don't realize that that's where the damn devil is inhabiting, and the Most High would not want you over there at this point in time anyway. All right. But hey, they the ones blinded by all this stuff. You know, these are the same ones that the scripture is talking about. You know, they're always scoffing. They don't have faith. They don't believe into the words that the Most High spoken to them. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he shall say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Going back to Ezekiel 2 and Ezekiel 3, I set you to become a watchman over the house of Israel. Okay? And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that they may run that readeth it. Okay? For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Okay, the vision is being what? These prophecies is for what? An appointed time, a set time. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. Okay, so you know, let me keep reading. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and it will not tarry. Yes, just because you hadn't seen these prophecies come to pass in your so-called lifetime, all right? Because you hadn't seen these things happen in your whole lifetime, you hadn't seeing certain things be developed or whatnot, it don't mean that these prophecies not going to come to pass. You know, you could have been living in a time like, let's say, in the 70s. All right. I mean, hell, we really not even in the time nowadays today for us to be able to have the RFID chip. All right. Like fully implemented the way they want it with all their systems, 5G technology, super fast internet, all type of shit like that with the Internet of Things. You know, that system can't quite be completed yet. They got to have everything else, the rest of the infrastructure put in place at that point in time. But however speaking, let's say you learned about this in the 40s or something, the 50s, 60s, 70s, talking about the mark of the beast, that's so far off, you know, you be like, oh, well, it ain't in my lifetime. Hey, though it tarry, wait for it, it shall surely come to pass. These things are still coming to pass whether you like it or not, you know. It might take a little bit of time, but it's still going to come to pass. You know, we see this uproar with Russia and all this and the nukes coming out, you know, and we get excited when we see those things. But, hey, it's going to tarry for a while because we know we need the RFID chip to be implemented first, you know. But nevertheless, you know, it seems like as if it's tarrying. We keep seeing them escalate a little bit, then die down, escalate a little bit, then die down, you know. But, hey, at the end of the day, it's still going to come to pass. The Most High's word ain't going to go out void, all right? It says, verse 4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. All right, just because you don't see it happening right here, right now, today, you know, or because it ain't came in your time allotted, you know, that ain't how you going to get it. You know, it says the just shall live by faith. All right, though it tarry, wait for it. You know, we see the technology for the RFID chip, we see the technology for the nuclear warfare, and we see the conflict happening. But hell, the Most High could push it out another 10, 20 years. Though it tarry, wait for it. All right, we got to be patient. Lord willing, we ain't got that long to go, but you know, hey, though it tarry, wait for it. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can push in this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth. Stay strong. Shalom.